The Blackrock clan was the group which chose to remain in the ancestral caves of the Orcs in Gul'dan after they began settling across Draenor 800 years ago. They were renowned for their blacksmithing abilities, using shaman to channel the natural elemental infernos of Gorgrond into blast furnaces, and for their regimented and disciplined fighting force. Notably, they were the first orcs who learned to use Blackrock ore, after which the clan was named. As a side note, Blackrock Mountain, their future capital, was not named after the clan or vice versa, but Orgrim Doomhammer did see the coincidence as a good omen, though within Blackrock Mountain they used dark iron instead of Blackrock ore. The Blackrocks provided the majority of the smiths and masons of both the Old Horde and the Iron Horde, though, at least for the latter, the large demand of weapons forced them to lower their standards significantly. Blackhand himself was a mastersmith, forging the Kingslayers in our timeline, while in the alternate Draenor he personally designed armaments for use atop Clefthoof mounts. The Blackrocks were also the first clan to join the Iron Horde, while in our timeline they were one of the first to carry out attacks against the Draenei and had the most success. In both timelines as well, they helped organize the rest of the Orcs based on their own regimented fighting force. Other than the initial members of the Shadow Council, mostly corrupt individuals from the Shadowmoon clan, the first publicly known orc warlocks came from the Blackrock clan, trained by Gul'dan himself. Desperate for new magical powers and, for the most part greatly impressed by their abilities, the majority of the clans and former shaman then eagerly accepted Gul'dan's offer to train them as warlocks. The Blackrock Warlocks still formed a sort of informal upper caste among their brethren in the Horde, and their reputation and prestige helped secure Blackhand's election as War Chief of the Horde. They were also sent by him to all the other clans with orders to artificially age their children to provide more manpower for the war against the Draenei. Blackhand himself ordered that his two boys, Rend and Maim, be the first to be subjected to this procedure. When Orgrim Doomhammer became War Chief, however, he outlawed warlock magic throughout the Horde and managed to massively sway public opinion among the orcs against Gul'dan and fell magic. Later though, after the Second War, the Blackrocks, presumably out of desperation, began using fell magic again. After Blackhand's election as War Chief, he assigned different roles to the various clans based on their abilities, as either frontline fighters or lighter forces. To that end, he created a new clan out of his own Blackrocks, the Blacktooth Grin, and assigned his sons Rend and Maim as its chieftains. This clan was supposed to serve as the scouting arm of the Blackrock clan, though notably the Blackrock clan was so massive that, even after this splinter, it was stated to be the most powerful clan in the Horde. The Blacktooth Grin continued to have Rend and Maim as their chieftains, even after Blackhand was slain in a duel by Orgrim Doomhammer, and was later more or less merged back with the mainstream Blackrock clan after the Horde's defeat in the Second War. Notably, in previous lore, the Blacktooth Grin was originally a rebellious group of Blackhand loyalists formed by Rend and Maim after their father's death, though this was retconned by a Chronicle Volume 2. Nevertheless, while Doomhammer was War Chief, the Blacktooth Grin served the Horde loyally, though Rend and Maim grumbled a lot, and was even sent to hunt down Gul'dan and Cho'Gath's Stormreavers and Twilight's Hammer after the defection, which they accomplished. Blackhand chose 3 members of the Blackrock clan to act as his lieutenants in the Horde: Orgrim Doomhammer, Varrock Saurfang, and Eitrigg. Doomhammer was already his second in command within the clan, and later, as we know, became War Chief. Varrock Saurfang was especially noted for his efficient and brutal tactics on the field, and was chosen by Doomhammer to act as his own second in command once he became War Chief, though some older sources say that this was actually an orc named Farbeck. Notably, he took command of about half of the Horde's forces in the hinterlands as a distraction tactic while the rest marched to Quel'Thalas. Eitrigg, for his part, was charged by Doomhammer with guarding Garona Half-Orcan, a prisoner of the Horde at the time. He was specifically sought out by Fro after he became war chief, as he needed experienced veterans to serve as his advisors, and Eitrigg has served as such ever since. Saurfang, after the Second War, also joined Fro's horde, and after the death of Grom Hellscream and the release of the Blood Curse, he helped many veterans get over their own guilt over the heinous acts they performed. In addition to Rend and Maim, Blackhand also had a daughter, Griselda Blackhand. Unlike her brothers, she was notably frail and had a gentler personality, both of which infuriated her father greatly. Notably, she was the only one of Blackhand's children whom Orgrim Doomhammer actually liked. In order to humiliate her, Blackhand also publicly refused to allow her to drink the blood of Manoroth. As an act of defiance, after crossing the Dark Portal, she began an affair with an ogre named Turok, which greatly displeased her father. She fled with her lover and his band of ogres into the Dead Mines during the First War, following which Blackhand sent the Horde force to kill her and the ogres. The Blackrock clan in World of Warcraft is more so synonymous with the Dark Horde of Blackrock Mountain. Following the Horde's defeat at Blackrock Spire during the Second War, Rend and Maim Blackhand began rallying the surviving orcs to their own banner. They initially tried to make a stand at the Dark Portal, but were quickly defeated in personal combat by Turalyon and had to flee. After the Alliance forces returned to their lands, the two and their forces quietly reoccupied Blackrock Spire and began gathering more survivors. They reached out to other Horde remnants and secured an alliance with the Dragon Maw in Grim Bateau, though the Bleeding Hollow ignored them. After the Dark Portal was reopened, Ner'zhul sent Tern Gorfin to ask for Rend and Maim's allegiance, but the two refused. Indirectly though, as they were not a part of the Horde of Draenor, Deathwing saw that he thus had free reign to act and sent his two children, Nefarian and Onyxia, to take control of them and Blackrock Spire. The Dark Horde was also attacked by the native Dark Iron Dwarves of Blackrock Depths, which had previously tolerated the Horde, with Maim Blackhand himself dying during the battle. Much like their origins on Draenor, the Blackrock clan of Blackrock Spire was also a strict and disciplined force, with their troops divided into 4 legions: Blackhand, Bloodaxe, Firebrand, and Scarshield, usually according to their respective classes. There was also a group of Blackrock orcs in Lordran in the Alterac Mountains during the Third War, led by the fell orc blade master Jubeitos, which was independent of both Thrall's horde and probably Rend and Maim's. Their forces were very similar to the hordes in the Second War, in addition to orcs having goblins, trolls, and enslaved red dragons. These orcs actively and willingly worshipped the Burning Legion, having sensed their coming return, and began attacking human villages in order to gather sacrifices, for which they were opposed by Prince Arthas and Uther the Lightbringer. Later on, the Death Knight Arthas and Kel'thuzad destroyed their main encampment in order to use a demon gate they had constructed to commune with Archimonde. Notably, they considered themselves the true servants of the Burning Legion and thought of the undead scourge as impure, but in reality they held no favor whatsoever with the demons. Following their defeat in the Burning Steppes and the final death of Nefarian, the Blackrock orcs were granted amnesty by War Chief Garrosh Hellscream and were allowed to rejoin the Horde. As it's well known, however, these orcs, under Malkorok, acted as an unofficial secret police and began intimidating and assassinating those who opposed Garrosh. It's worth noting, however, that Malkorok also served in the same role for Rend Blackhand within Blackrock Mountain. There, he personally assassinated any who began speaking up against the Warchief, much to the approval of his Warchief, and was also involved in the defense of Blackrock Spire against adventurers.